Hi, how you doing? So in this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to create skin texture in Adobe Photoshop. This is a really subtle adjustment you can make to the skin, but it makes all the difference. So this is the before and this is the after. And you can see around here, we've just added that little bit of texture and it just gives it a little bit more of a realistic look to the skin. So I'm going to start from the beginning and walk you through the process. Okay, so the first thing we want to do is come to our layers panel and we want to add a new blank layer. So come down to the bottom here and click on the little plus icon. You can double click on the layer and name it if you want to. So I'm going to just name that skin texture. And now what we want to do is come up to edit and then select fill. And by default, yours is probably set to foreground color. So we just want to bring that down to 50% gray and say, okay. So now what we want to do is we just want to convert this to a smart object, which means then we can go back later and change the settings if we need to. So right click and then select convert to smart object. Next step is going up to the top here where it says filter. And we want to select filter gallery. Now you can see here that this is actually grayed out. If that's the case for you as well, just go to image mode and then change it to 8 bits per channel. And then come back to filter and you'll see there that the filter gallery is now highlighted. So select that. And we want to come down to the bottom here where it says texture. And we want to select texturize, which is this particular one here. And then we've got texture sandstone. So we want to make sure that we are on sandstone. That is what's going to give you a realistic skin texture effect. Now what's good about this is that you can select where the light source is coming from. So you can change this to whatever that light is and it will just change that texture to match it for you. So let's just select top left for now. And then scaling relief, I'm just going to leave that as it is and press OK. Now what we want to do is change the blend mode. So you can either change this to overlay or soft light, depending on your image. So soft light's going to give us a little bit of a softer look and overlay is a little bit harder. You can see that. So depending on your image, you just need to decide which one works best. So now we've done that, we can come back to where it says filter gallery, double click on that. So that is a smart object now working, because we could go back in and change this. So we can change the relief and we can change the scaling. So this particular image, I'm just going to bring that scaling down and I'm going to bring the relief down. Your image will be different, so you just need to play until you get the right texture, right look for your particular image. I think that looks pretty good, so I'm going to stick with that. So the next thing then is coming down to the bottom here. We want to hold the Alt or Option key and select the layer mask option and then click, and that's going to create a mask that basically hides the entire layer. So now we want to come over to the left and we want to select our brush tool, make sure that the hardness is set to 0, and we want to select the opacity to around 20% and the flow around 20% as well. Now what we want to do is just start painting this texture in. Now you can increase and decrease the size of your brush by pressing the bracket keys, and I'm just going to use small circular motions just to start adding that texture back in. And with this, it is all about building up that layer. So that's the reason why we've dropped the opacity and flow to 20%. It's just so we can build this up gradually rather than it being quite a severe edit. So once you've gone over the face, what you can do is hold the Alt or Option key down, click on the layer mask up here, and you'll see where you've painted. So you can then fill in the darker areas, and also the whiter it is, the more of that texture is going to start coming through. It just means you've gone over it more than once. So we want to slowly build this up, and you can hold the Alt Option key down again just to see where you're painting. So just jump between them two, and that will make sure that you get everything, because you want an even selection on this, otherwise it will look a little bit odd. So you can see there that I'm slowly building that up, just doing small circles and just changing that brush size there. So once we've done that and we're happy, again we can look back at this mask here, just double check everything. You can see some areas here that I've missed, and here on the cheek I need to go over that a little bit more. There we go. So that's looking pretty good. So let's hold Alt Option again, click on that mask. And now what we can do, again, we can come back to this filter gallery and we can increase that a little bit, bring that relief up a little bit. And the trick is just playing with them settings just to get the exact finish that you want. The other option that we've got as well is the opacity, so we can bring that all the way down to 0. That's obviously going to be that complete edit taken out. We can drop this to around 70 to 80%. That then just takes the sting out of it a little bit and makes it look a little bit more realistic. So you can see here, this is the before and this is the after. It's very, very subtle, but that's what we want. And you can see around here, you can see there's just little bits of texture just come back into that skin. It makes it look a little bit more realistic. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.